This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Kia ora, good evening. I'm Simon Anderson. A large scrub fire that ripped through scrub and gorse on a hill above Dunedin City was brought under control shortly before 7 p.m. last night. However, the success of fire crews controlling the blaze did not come before a precautionary evacuation of half a dozen semi-rural properties in the suburb of Helensburgh.
A huge column of smoke signalling an out-of-control scrub fire on Dunedin's Flagstaff Hill yesterday afternoon. Fire crews worked hard to bring the blaze under control before the arrival of high winds predicted later in the day.
We are concerned at this stage that the wind is predicted to get up, with around 100 to 120k winds this evening, with a mixture of rain in there hopefully.
Firefighters' prayers were answered with a rain drizzle and a rise in humidity, but it was still a concentrated effort to control the blaze.
We've got 6 helicopters in the air, a number of ground crews and a bulldozer and a digger making access for ground crews to hopefully get in and make some better progress.
The fire started near the Pineapple Track around 1 p.m. As it spread towards Rudd Road in Helensburgh, pine and eucalyptus plantings were threatened and 7 homes were evacuated as a precaution.
This is something we think about every summer when it's really dry. So you think more often about, will it be necessary to leave, yes or no? You always hope not, but that's the way it is. So yeah, we got our stuff together, the essentials, documentation, insurance papers, the fact that we owned the house before the fire, all this kind of stuff.
After the fire was brought under control last night, 6 of the 7 evacuated families were allowed to return to their homes.
Residents have been really, really helpful in taking heed of our warnings and obviously evacuating for us as a precaution, and it's purely a precaution based on the likelihood that the wind will increase.
The fire appeared to be all but out yesterday evening, and there was not yet any indication to the fire's cause. An investigator was expected at the scene today. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Dunedin Railways is likely to make future trips to the Oamaru Blue Penguin colony, though probably not as a regular service. In August, a Dunedin Railways locomotive took 140 tourists to the colony for the first time. Dunedin Railways say the inaugural trip was a success, and it's likely a matter of time before further excursions are held. Waitaki Mayor Gary Kircher says the idea is to allow passenger trains that come into Oamaru to get off the main trunk line and have passengers disembark more easily. A young boy from Abbotsford is up and walking with the help of a frame just 3 months after major spinal surgery in the USA. The parents of 4-year-old Harry Finch hope he might even be able to walk to school when he starts in June next year.
4-year-old Harry Finch standing up and walking with a frame, only 3 months after he underwent major spinal surgery in the United States. His mother says they've seen a huge improvement in just the last few weeks.
In less than 3 months, he is able to use his walker, which we actually thought would take him roughly about a year to be able to do that. So we had the most exciting week last week with him just making so much progress with physio every single day.
Harry was born with spastic diplegia cerebral palsy, which meant the muscles in his legs were always contracted, making it impossible for him to learn to walk. But following spinal surgery in a hospital in Missouri earlier this year, he's no longer having to crawl or use a wheelchair to get around.
Now that he's got the wheelchair as well, so he has the wheelchair when he's tired, and with the walker, he's using that so much more.
Harry's parents say they're amazed to see their son finally able to learn to walk.
He's upright, he's keeping his balance, taking steps and pushing forward, so that he's got to use a lot of strength for that. And it's just unbelievable. Like, we're just so happy with how he's going. and he's just going to get better and better and stronger, aren't you?
Specialists have said it was likely to be many years before Harry could walk on his own, but his parents believe with the determination and progress he's shown, he might be able to walk through the school gates on his own in June next year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Emergency services were called to a fire at Evans Flat near Lawrence earlier today. Fire crews from Balclutha, Lawrence and Waitahuna attended the control burn, which had gotten out of control. 2 helicopters supported 5 ground fire appliances after 3 or 4 controlled burns close to trees flared into the trees. A mid-Canterbury farmer recently opened his property to a visiting group. They were shown how farming and environmental protection can work together. Third-generation farmer Ian McKenzie told those visiting his Eiffelton farm about the endangered mudfish that live in the local creek.
Visitors getting a tour of the beautiful, almost park-like surrounds at Purakanui Creek, which flows through Akanui Farm just south of Ashburton. Arable farmer Ian McKenzie and his wife Diana have spent the last few decades improving the wetland on their property to create a good habitat for the endangered Canterbury mudfish, whose largest population in New Zealand is in this very stream.
If you have one of the world's rarest fish species on your property, you should look after them. I mean, that's sort of obvious. We like it because it's quite nice out here. You know, it's pretty cool.
There's about half a dozen hectares of planted wetlands here, which are not just a haven for native fish, but also attract bird life such as pukeko, herons and kingfishers, each being part of an interconnected ecosystem.
You have this bird life which is pretty spectacular, and of course they're living off the frogs and the cockabullies and the mudfish that live in the creek, so everything is connected.
Mackenzie's held various roles with federated farmers at both a regional and national level, developing environmental policies for water and the environment.
I think farmers should think about how they can, where they've got and a lot of farmers do, I know, where they've got areas which isn't much good for farming, and this area here wasn't much good for farming because it's pretty wet in here, where you can do something else with the land and get pleasure from it.
And he's not the only one doing something good with the wasteland on his farm.
Now I've got a mate at Ealing just off the main road, and he's got a fantastic wetland he's developing just off. It's a backspring of the Rangitata River, and it's down below a terrace. It's not part of his farm, but it is on his freehold title, and you know, he's doing some fantastic stuff there, and it's the same sort of principle really.
In mid-Canterbury, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. International Oil is granted access to the Great South Basin, and we have another interview of another mayoral candidate. See you after the break.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, we bring you the best value. We have bought a massive selection of moleskins, and we're passing on the savings to you. Buy one pair, save $25. Buy two, save $60, and we've got a great deal on our knitwear. Look at it all, 25% off all our knitwear. And to go with the knitwear, what about a nice warm shirt? These are 25% off too. And while we're doing the 25% off, what about on the jackets? 25% off them as well.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So check us out for massive savings this winter.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Ngā mai anō, welcome back. Consent has been granted to an international oil and gas company to drill in the Great South Basin. The Environmental Protection Authority held hearings in Dunedin earlier this year related to the Austrian-based company, OMV, and its intention to drill an exploration well this summer. The panel granted the consent with conditions, as it considered effects on species and the marine environment. Submitters became frustrated at the hearing as they felt unable to express views on the wider project. With Dunedin's Mayor Dave Cull stepping down after serving 3 terms, 14 hopefuls vie to be elected for the role. In tonight's bulletin, Otago Access radio host Ian Telfer interviews candidate Scout Barbara Evans as to why they want to be mayor and where the chains of office.
A student who wants the community to stand up, Scout Barbara Evans. Kia ora, Scout.
Kia ora.
You've been out in the media and out in the public quite a bit. So why are you standing? What are you trying to achieve?
It's pretty separate from the reasons I've been in the media recently, to be honest. You know, I do a lot of that media around my transition and around being transgender and parenting, because there are a lot of kids who don't even know that they're able to be parents one day, that they think that they have to give up on their dream of being parents or having families. So that's completely separate from me running for the mayoralty. I just genuinely think that I would make a really good mayor. I have a lot of the collaborative leadership skills and the facilitatorship skills to be able to coordinate a group of people in a way that maybe they'll get along with each other.
Could be quite a good challenge though.
Yeah, I mean, one of my other jobs is facilitating a youth group across the hallway. And, you know, if I can manage them, then I can manage this.
All right. But do you have specific issues that you want to work on, or do you just see that there's a role there that you'd like to play?
I am campaigning this election on a few issues, mostly because a lot of people asked me to. So I am campaigning on housing, on community resilience, and on youth issues. And the thing about all of that is that they overlap. So improving the quality of our housing and making sure, you know, advocating on a national stage so that people can stay in their communities for longer means that they build relationships with their communities, which creates in turn a resilient community. But it also directly benefits youth because we are more likely as we grow older to continue to be renting for a very, very long time. You know, house prices are getting higher and it is getting harder to get into the housing market. So
what can the council do? And what should it be doing?
It's limited. Let's be real, it is limited. I think that there is room in terms of our new builds to make sure that when resource consents are granted, that all houses that are being built, so all dwellings that are being built are to a higher standard than, for example, the current rental laws allow for. We need to be rezoning. We need to look at densifying a lot of the housing in the city, and that's not a popular opinion, so we do need to make sure that we do it in line with how we maintain our heritage buildings too.
What would that look like? More density, more infill?
Yeah, more apartment buildings,
Right.
more spaces that even young families can live in to make housing more accessible. The thing is right now, you know, I just had to move house, right? I did not expect to have to move house during a mayoral campaign. I really strongly don't recommend it. It's the worst idea I ever had, to be honest. But it was impossibly hard to get a house. And the house that I did get, I had to go to a viewing the day after it was listed, apply that day, and I got it 3 days later. Like, that was really
Intense.
quick and
Yeah.
intense,
Yeah.
and everything moved really
And you
quickly.
have to be ready to go, and you have to
Exactly.
be ready to move, and you have to have the money
Exactly.
all set and all everything else, right?
Yeah, and so then I had to scramble
Because
for
we're in
money
a
'cause I
quite
don't have much
serious,
of that.
we're in a serious housing squeeze right now, right?
We are.
As a city.
Yeah, and not just housing, but transport. And if people lived closer to the city, the central city, where they work and study and play, then we wouldn't need so many cars on the roads. You know, there's a lot of these issues are so multifaceted.
And you want the council to play a greater role, or at least have more focus on those issues?
Yeah, I mean, the council has to take a leadership role in this term on housing issues. You know, we do have an impending housing crisis. We've just watched it unfurl in Queenstown and in Auckland and a lot of other cities too. You know, we're quite lucky that this is just starting to unfurl at the start of a term.
And we'll bring you 2 more interviews with candidates over the week. You can also watch the full 45-minute interview on odt.co.nz. After the break on the South Today, day walkers in Wanaka are asked to take a hike somewhere else as a number of tracks are closed, and we bring you the weather.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. For a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chill.
you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Thanks for staying with us. People intending to hike some of Wanaka's most popular day walks over the next few weeks may have to go elsewhere. Day hikers in Wanaka are advised to check the DOC website or go to their local visitor centre to determine their walking options. Both the Diamonds Lake and Rob Roy Glacier tracks remain closed due to erosion, and the 16-kilometre long Roy's Peak track will be closed from the 1st of October to mid-November for lambing. There are plenty of great options for all abilities in Central Otago region, a DOC spokesperson said. And now, a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome Hayden Meikle. Kia ora, Hayden.
Good evening, Simon. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Let's see what we've got. A lot of big news tomorrow, a lot of heavy news, things happening all day today. So we start with some huge news coming out of Central Otago with the announcement of some plans for a huge new hydro storage lake around Lake Onslow, I think, near Roxburgh. A lot of details to come out. I'm eagerly awaiting the final story to see, but it's a very big project, a very expensive project, several billions of dollars worth, I think. That's going to be a page one lead tomorrow, and I think that's going to be very, very well read. Renewable energy, hydro energy, very topical at this point in time. Anything involving those sorts of changes will be attracting people's attention, so it should be interesting. And speaking of water, we look at ramifications of the government's new freshwater proposals, specifically the ramifications for Otago farmers. So we've got some of the latest details showing what it might mean for Otago farmers, some Otago farmland, if the province is to reach the standards set by the government. Some really interesting stuff in there too. Fuel prices, one of those things, hot button item, isn't it? It's a constant really. We're fascinated by fuel prices. And yes, indeed, a lot of Otago petrol stations reporting today was extremely busy as people, including me, I have to say, fueled up ahead of what we presume will be price spikes. I think a couple of the companies already bumped their prices up today. So nothing is as popular in the newspaper as a story about fuel prices, I assure you. Local body elections carry on. We've got another round of meetings today and tonight. I think Central Otago, Invercargill, Queenstown and Oamaru have either candidate or mayoral meetings. And of course the ODT, as we do, we're at nearly every single meeting reporting what people are saying.
Covers them all. And
then we finish with some sport. We've got to have some sport in there. There's a very large tournament, I'm sure you're aware, Simon, starting on Friday, the Men's Rugby World Cup. We talked to Laurie Mains, who got very close with the All Blacks in 1995. On exactly how the All Blacks are going to win the World Cup. So there you go, take it to the bank because Laurie says so.
Great, here's hoping. And now time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Looking at the situation, we have some cloud about the coasts for the rest of the week, but fine weather inland with nighttime frosts and pleasant daytime temperatures. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, Balclutha, the Catlins, Gore and Lumsden can expect moderate westerlies with some cloud and highs of 12 or 13 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes region, Alexandra, Queenstown and Wanaka are in for light southwesterlies and fine weather, with highs ranging between 10 and 13 degrees. Those of you further south in Te Anau can expect fresh westerlies with showers clearing and a high of 11 degrees. Up to the northern towns, Timu and Oamaru can look forward to light winds and fine weather with highs of 13 or 14 degrees. Further inland, Twizel and Marama are in for light southwesterlies, fine weather and a high of 12 degrees. Down in Dunedin, it'll be fine, some cloud tonight and a chilly overnight low of 2 degrees. Tomorrow brings fine weather with high clouds, moderate northwest winds and milder temperatures, a high of 13 and an overnight low of 5. Expect long sunny periods on Thursday with moderate southwesterlies, a high of 13 and an overnight low of 7. And in Invercargill, look out for showers and fresh westerly winds tonight with an overnight low of 5. Tomorrow starts with showers clearing and sunny periods later on as the cool westerly winds slowly increase. A high of 12 and an overnight low of 4. It'll be fine on Thursday with long sunny periods and moderate westerly winds and overnight low, a high of 13 and an overnight low of 5. That's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.